Hey guys, so this build has many names. Here's Ice Crash or any other skill that you prefer actually. Strength stacking, crit slayer, shrine build, and this is using quite a lot of uniques and replicas. In fact, it's pretty similar to Eric Aiken's chat clone build.
Eric Aiken.
However, like I said, I'm using a shrine body armor plus gull helmet, so it's a bit different, but you can still use those uniques used in his build, and then you would have more damage but less life. So let me quickly go over what I have on this build and how everything functions. But just quickly, the theme of this build and the size of this character reminds me of some kind of unholy paladin. In fact, I even have the cursed body armor with 30% quality. I was unable to 6-link it, and it was taking like 200 fusings every time I failed to 6-link it, 200 fusings to link back to 5. So all the clips that you're gonna see in this video are on a 5-link. And no, I did not even go for the series because of the performance issues that I'm having since the start of this league. So the biggest question I had during my stream is how do I convert my Ice Crash into Chaos damage? And I am not converting. All of the damage is coming from Replica's Alberon Warpath boots. You gain 1 to 80 Chaos damage to attacks per 50 strength, and this is at 50 strength increment. If let's say at some point you're gonna have like 548 strength, be sure to reach 550 strength to get an extra 1 to 80 Chaos damage. And that's weird, I just noticed that I have 1099 strength, and I'm sure that I had 1100 and something strength. So I guess in the last couple of clips I was missing some of the damage. Next item that I have is Replica's Frostbreath, and in fact you do not need a Replica version. You can use just fine a normal one and it's gonna be cheaper. The Replica version basically allows you to chill with Chaos damage, which currently does not work because bugs. So, but that's an easy fix because I'm using skitterbots to apply shocks and chills. What this weapon basically does is give you 100% chance to deal double damage against shield enemies. And since you are getting a lot of flat damage from boots, this double damage becomes pretty massive. And because you already have 100% chance to deal double damage, Intimidating Cry becomes useless. Next, Blunderbore body armor and the Gull helmet. And this is pretty cool synergy. Some people may not realize that with this combo you can get 50% increased maximum life, 50% generic damage and 50% increased AoE. And of course your character will be bigger. And bigger is always better, right? Just look at the headhunter builds, they are always big. So this build is also good because the character is big. Now the drawback of this body armor is that it adds up to 700 strength requirement on top of its original 180 something. But since this build is already stacking strength because of the boots, so it's not an issue. Another thing about this shrine build, I guess, is that you can still stack these lesser shrines that you get from the Gull helmet and from the body armor with the normal shrines. And then the normal shrines will last for over a minute, I think, and their effect is also gonna be buffed. Up to 150% increased shrine effect if you get a perfect Blunderbore body armor. And you can check wiki for what other lesser shrines you can get, like maximum elemental resistances and stuff like that. Multiple same shrines will not stack, so that's one of the issue, is that you trigger create lesser shrine when you kill an enemy, but it is random, so you may actually get the shrine that you already have from the body armor, which is lesser brutal or lesser massive shrine, and that's gonna be kind of wasted. In fact, most of the time I would even not notice the shrines on the ground because those lesser shrines are very not visible, especially in certain maps. And the rest of my items I'm just trying to get enough resistances and most strength, even ignoring life. But most of my items could still be improved to get a bit more life, and this build could reach over 7k life and probably a bit more strength, but it is kind of a budget build. I don't even have a 6-link. A quick tip, you can actually use attribute catalyst on for example Cyclopean Coil or rings with your strength to increase that strength, and amulet if you got a Warlord's amulet which has percentage increased strength, that would also affect that percentage. Now I also do have Chaos Explosions from the Cluster Jewel, so mapping was pretty satisfying, except I would still want more attack speed, and my attack speed felt just enough, just fine, until I started using Pulverize. Pulverize support gem has less attack speed, but it does give more AoE. And in terms of support gems, there is nothing better than Pulverize in terms of raw damage. So I did try to compensate that by getting more attack speed on the passive tree and getting 2 minimum frenzy charges on my shield. Now the biggest issue with this build, maybe I should have mentioned it at the start, the biggest issue is the damage is going from very low to very high. Damage in PoE using level 19 0 quality gems is going from 56,000 to 1.2 million, and that is not even counting for critical hits. So it feels like playing lighting builds, but even worse because you cannot reduce this gap. For at least non-crit lighting builds you can use supercharged jewel, but for this there's nothing really that could do that. There are a couple items that do like lucky things, but it doesn't synergize with this at all. That's why you sometimes see me doing almost no damage against bosses and other times just almost one-shotting bosses. And that's why I in the end did not really like this build, at least for bossing. For map clear it felt very good, but for bossing it just no. For bossing it was not good, even for me. But then again, if I had a 6th link it probably would feel much better. As always, I will include path for building import code in video description, and I will also include alternative items like Crown of Ice, the Iron Fortress and Repentance Crusader's Glove, and the damage goes from 1.8 million average to 3.9 million average, but obviously with a lot less life and not cat resistances. So if you want to use those items instead of Shrine Body Armor and Gull Helmet, you would have to tweak this somehow and lose some damage on the passive tree maybe and get more life, or just don't do this build. By the way, you can also replace the Gull Helmet with Crown of the Tyrant, which would be pretty big damage boost, but you would also lose some life because you would have less shrine effect. By the way, in path of building, the Blunderbore Body Armor is not automatically calculating the lesser brutal and lesser massive shrine, so I modified that body armor to include that. You're also gonna notice that I have pretty bad jewels with just a bit of strength, resistance and life and no damage. Like I said, I was working on a pretty slim budget and most of it went into fusings, which were a big waste. I guess I should also briefly mention why I went Slayer, because I wanted to. I haven't played Slayer in a while and it is a crit build and Frostbreath has pretty bad base crit chance, so Slayer seemed like a best choice, but I'm sure you can adapt this to pretty much any other class. And lastly, I guess I'm gonna have to go over the support gems and what skills I'm using. So Ice Crash is currently linked with Fortify, Fist of War, Pulverize and Void Manipulation. For the 6th link I will use Concentrated Effect. Previously instead of Pulverize I was using Shockwave support gem, but it did not synergize with Fist of War and it was losing some damage. So you may want to experiment with support gems that you would prefer. You may even want to replace Fist of War because it's not a consistent damage boost, but it is massive AoE. And remember, bigger is better, right? But in fact, this is gonna sound weird, but the AoE is even too big, that's what she said. Because it's so big that I sometimes can't even see anything what's happening on the screen, except the massive ice spikes coming from the ground. So yeah, if you're gonna be building something like that, maybe go with non-crit build. You wouldn't really need to worry about accuracy, which wasn't really an issue for this, and you would have way more points to spend elsewhere, which would allow you to get more strength and get more flare damage from the boots. And also, if you don't like picking up shrines, maybe replace the body armor and the Gull helmet with something else, like the Iron Fortress body armor and the Crown of Ice helmet and the Repentance gloves. And as a non-crit build, I'm sure you would have more success, I guess. Anyway, that's it about this build. I'm waiting for the next patch, which hopefully is gonna fix some of the performance issues because it's really a torture. By the way, did you know that currently there is a bug which causes performance issues if you reserve almost all of your mana and have the spinny aura icons on your skill bar? Yep, that's how broken this league is. And also finally Heist coming out of the beta test. And I do want to make a build specifically for Heist because I have like over 200 contracts and I just want to run Heist. But I haven't really decided the build yet, so I'm gonna do that the next stream. And if you have not subscribed yet, be sure to do that because I'm gonna be doing more funky and weird builds. And even if they are not very successful, I'm still gonna show them. Because that's what science is. And I am, I guess, crazy scientist. So thank you for watching and I will see you soon.